That's what happens with the Buttes in the house.
Hockey, yeah.
My favorite. It's Judd's Hockey Show.
It is Judd's Hockey Show. It's the Wednesday edition, so it's Judd, it's Kirsten Krull, it's AJ Fredrickson. It is really the calm before the storm. So we are in that month period or so where everyone is on vacation. It's incredibly quiet. So we are looking for topics to talk about. We are creating those topics because we are creative enough to keep this show going even in a dead period. And we are going to get to a topic or a bunch of topics, several questions that I'm going to throw out to the panel. But first, before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of our sponsors who we greatly appreciate. First of all, let's start off with North American Banking Company, which supports the people, companies, and service organizations that make the Twin Cities a great place to live. Check out any of those 6 Twin Cities locations: Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. They are convenient, plus they offer all the same online and mobile banking tools as the national banks. As I keep saying, in other words, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get all of the advantages that you do with the big guys, but you're going to get a huge added bonus of dealing with a bank where if you go in, you're going to have a person to talk to. If you call them, you're going to talk to a person, not a machine, not a corporate type who is not in state. They understand us, they understand our town, and they understand your needs. So if you want that better banking experience, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com to learn more, or visit any of those 6 aforementioned Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And then when you got all that cash, you know what? You want to go to a game. You want SeatGeek because SeatGeek is going to get you the best deals. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. If you want tickets to, we're talking sports, concerts, festivals, and more, it's the perfect place to go. And SeatGeek is also now the official ticketing partner of Grand Casino Arena and the Wild, home to all of your ticketing needs across the Twin Cities and the entire state. And of course, I have a code for you as well. If you're watching this, you can see it right now. You can use the code JUDD, J-U-D-D 2026, 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code JUDD 2026. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later on. That is SeatGeek. I've got the app on my phone right here. Check it out. What's going on, you guys? How are we doing this morning?
We're great. Peachy again, if you will, Judd. I know you like that answer. No, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. The sun is shining, so who can complain?
Yeah, it's going well. You know, yesterday in the thick of quarterback decision making by the Vikings, I had that thought like that crept in my head. I was like, man, I miss hockey. Man, I wish it was early fall and we were able to talk about the Wild dropping the puck soon.
And what if on the same day that the Vikings finally ended that quarterback battle, which none of us knew which direction it was going, the Wild had announced that Dylan Larkin was being acquired, huh? Like, what a sports day that could have been.
Can you imagine?
All-timer.
The internet would have absolutely combusted.
You know what's funny? In Minnesota sports, I actually can. I can't imagine something that nuts because we have seen a lot of weird things here. So yes, but you are right. Twitter or X and Blue Sky absolutely would have blown up.
Yeah.
Like, bing, gone.
Imagine also adding some Quinn Hughes news into that mix too.
Oh God.
Yeah, 5 minutes later after the trade announcement, hey, by the way, Quinn Hughes, 3x18.
Yeah.
7x19.
Yeah,
Would have had New Jersey Devils fans crying.
I was just gonna say, and Devils fans would have been, oh, I don't understand. I thought he was coming here. I thought it was all. Oh my God! I'm telling you right now, it's unbelievable. I still find it weird that a team now in another conference is probably the fan base that the Wild fans hate the most. Right?
Yeah.
Like Avs fans, it'd be like, okay, we hate the Avs because we play the Avs, right? Or like if the Blackhawks were good. But I don't remember the last time that there was this much animosity between fan bases. And the funny thing is, it's based in New Jersey. But I digress.
Yeah, like I haven't thought about the Dallas Stars in months, solely because the New Jersey Devils and their organization has taken up so much of my bandwidth for just like sitting around just like, God, those guys really bugging me. Dallas Stars. I hope you're having a good time redesigning that new arena, because that looks like you are really going through it there.
You mean the Plano Stars?
Yeah.
AI generated design formats they've shared.
How about that? How about that? Like trying to. So are they at the end of the day? Are they trying to bully Dallas into building them a build? Like what is this? Because it's like weird. It's like here's our arena, and it's like that probably costs like $12 to get done.
Yeah,
it's AI.
Yeah.
Here's our arena.
I think my other favorite rebuttal to that in that thread was somebody then took a before and after photo of SoFi Stadium now that it's been open for 10 years. They said this is what the rendering was, and it was this huge district with all of these amazing buildings and entertainment spaces surrounding it. And then it says, here's what it looks like 10 years later, and it's just surrounded by a big parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes. And like a pond or something, like a man-made pond. That's exactly
feature,
right.
yeah.
So it's very much giving Dallas Stars.
I might sound like a complete jerk here, but I'm just honestly, if Dallas Stars fans are like upset about this, like they're going to Plano or something, good. You took the team. Your undeserving market took our team. And now you're like, well, they're going to go to Plano. Good. Keep going.
And then they're going to get another team in state here, it sounds like, via Alan Walsh. A little expansion work coming up. Atlanta, Houston.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Is there enough goaltending to go around? I don't think so.
Houston or Austin, it sounds like. It sounds like they might be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it sounds like. And I've heard, I have not been there. I've heard Austin is great.
It is. It's incredible. Great barbecue.
Yeah, and you know what? I have been to Houston. I hate it. I don't like Houston. So I actually think Austin, and to the league's credit, I think it's worked in Columbus, right? So like you can go to smaller towns and draw fans. So yeah, but I've heard the two. I don't like Dallas and I hate Houston. I've heard San Antonio and Austin are really cool.
Okay.
Austin is like built for entertainment too. Like they've got a bunch of different things that you can do in Austin as well. So honestly, I feel that would be an ideal market for hockey in Texas. And you get a lot of transplants that move to Texas from everywhere. So it probably would be a bigger hockey market than you think.
Probably true. But as far as AJ's question or point, I mean, goaltending, is there enough talent? I mean, like you're going to go to 34 teams then?
Yeah.
I don't know. Expansion scares me because of that. You dilute the pool. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not a ton of good hockey players, but this is the best league in the entire world, and it feels like you are constantly. But they're going to get $1 billion plus for a franchise now, so
yeah,
Gary Bettman's not going to pass up that opportunity.
No.
All right, let's get to our questions. Which of course will not revolve around the potential Houston franchise or Austin. It will revolve around the franchise that we talk about, the Minnesota Wild. So, Kirsten, we'll start with you. Give me the player you think was, so far, the Wild's best pickup this offseason. So, I mean, there's still time left. Could acquire players, could change your answer. But for right now, with the players that they have acquired, who do you think is the best addition?
I mean, I feel like this is low-hanging fruit because I feel the majority of fans and those around the game have the same consensus that it's Blake Coleman. And I say Blake Coleman because he brings a very physical game. He scored 20 goals this past season, so he'll bring in some offensive prow. Two-way game he plays, and also brings Stanley Cup championship experience, having won 2 back-to-back with Tampa. So I think all of those things and some leadership experience as well. He seems like he can stay pretty healthy too. I think it was 69 games he played last season, and it seems very consistent for him across the board that he's able to play around that amount of games. So I think all around, I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to this Wild lineup.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the thing. Like, this is a guy that's been like, if you follow the NHL, especially as a Wild fan, you've sort of seen and known about this guy from afar, his time in Calgary and his time elsewhere prior, but it's just like he's just been a constant producer. He's never been like a star, I don't think, but he has been a guy that I know is really regarded as a fantastic locker room guy. So in terms of Bill Guerin wanted to have that culture and that, that attitude, the right attitude in the locker room. It seems like he fits right in, doesn't ruffle any feathers there. But then on the ice play, if our, I guess, projecting is correct in how he plays the game, it fits in exactly what the Wild are looking to potentially shift to, moving away from that east-west and focusing more on north-south, because he does get up ice. At the older age, he's going to be, I think, 33 or 34 this season. So
35.
Okay.
On
All
November
right.
28th. Yeah.
So 35 this season. Probably doesn't have the same jump as he did 5, 6, 7 years ago. But we've seen guys sort of just defy the odds. And I guess the thinking maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago, once you get to 35, you're just a geriatric and you might as well just be put in a home or something like that. Athletes today have more resources to maintain and have upkeep of their body than ever before. So that longevity of a career is there. That high level of play is there. I think, Blake Coleman probably is the most impressive pickup so far, just to replace, especially he's immediately slotting in top 6. I'm not sure you can say that about any of the other guys that they've added.
I think he's also going to, in a positive way, the skill set, he's a very different player, but I think he's going to quickly make us forget Marcus Johansson. And I know Marcus could carry the puck into the zone, and I know he was, he could stick. He could stick handle well, but the thing I like about Blake is that, to Kirsten's point, he played in 69 games, which is great. He had 20 goals, but also, and this is nice, he had last season with Calgary 4 shorthanded goals, and he has 22 shorties in his 10-year career. So I think he's going to bring a lot of the grit. Like, what frustrated me about Marcus lots of times is I don't know he brought much grit. In fact, he didn't. But this guy will. And so, that the North-South game, the style that I think we're going to appreciate and like. And, if he scores, great. If he doesn't score, I think he can contribute still. So, I would put that atop my list as well. Age, who is your top one outside of Blake Coleman?
Yeah, for the sake of being different, this one's pretty tough in my mind, because on one hand, the word that Kirsten said that is sticking with me for this sort of pickup is consistency. And of the other, I guess, 3 names, because it's Shabanov, it's Mata, it's Picard, I'm looking at probably the 2 skaters. Mata is consistent. When he's on the ice, he's kind of like vanilla ice cream in the sense of he's not going to blow you away, but he's good old reliable if you don't know what you want to do. And I think he's going to replace maybe the wild card at times on defense that was Jake Middleton last season. The problem there is, though, in terms of the 69 games that Blake Coleman played, he only played 21 last season in Calgary. So it's not like he is a beacon of health, Ole Mata. But on the other side of it, Max Shabanov, he's sort of this mystery box, unknown potential. He could be a huge flop, and they're, all season long talking about where can we find this other winger to help produce, or he blossoms and just turns out it's like, what did he do in New York? Why didn't Patrick Waugh get this talent out of this guy? It obviously could settle somewhere in the middle, but I guess for the sake of like the potential ceiling that he brings, I'm going to go Shabanov. The tape that you've seen in Russia, he has offensive skill that doesn't just similar to my talking point with Volstead before last season in terms of like, can he return to that top goalie prospect? If you have it, that doesn't just disappear magically because of one bad season. It takes maybe a change of scenery. It takes maybe a mental reset. It takes maybe a system that fits you better. Granted, goalie, skater, a little bit different, but that could potentially be what we're seeing here with Max Shabanov coming into the Wild. You're going to expect him to probably get some minutes with one of the better players in the NHL, Kirill Kaprizov, and if not, is he going to be playing with a guy like Matt Boldy? We know Matt Boldy can play left or right if needed. He prefers, I know they prefer him on the right, but I think just the offensive skill that he kind of just has in his bag will be will at least slots him in for the second rung on this behind Blake Coleman. I just can't give it to Mata for the sake of 21 games last year. Sure. I'm not sure health-wise how reliable he'll be to start the season.
Yeah. And he could be if things work out and there's a chemistry with Kaprizov, he could be, your top line right wing.
Yes.
Best case, I will draw this comparison, and this trade actually worked out for both sides. So this was not like highway robbery for the Wild. But if you guys remember, the last time that I recall that the Wild got an underachieving slug from the Islanders, it was Cal Clutterbuck traded to New York, Nino Niederreiter.
I do remember that.
Who had basically washed out. I don't know what happened there. There was some type of friction. It didn't work out. And Cal played a long time there, so he was good. Yeah. But, you know, if you look back in the history of the Wild, the Colorado goal, OT goal, Game 7 of what was that age? 2013.
Yes.
In the playoffs, and the Wild got a prolonged period
15.
of.
I think 2015. I think 2015.
Okay. But the Wild got a prolonged period of scoring from that. So like if you get that, if Shabanov can be like Nino was, Kirsten, I think that's pretty good. And so they clearly like him more than the Islanders did. So I would expect him to get a prolonged look. And my guess is he's going to be the first guy up to at least have a chance to fight for the job playing on the right wing with, let's just say, Hartman and Kaprizov.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, too, even the enthusiasm Bill Guerin had when talking about him, I think was incredibly telling in and of itself. So I would say everything AJ had said, I feel, is nail on the head. What's that phrase?
Hitting the nail on the head?
Yeah. Hitting the nail on the head. Yes, thank you. My brain is slow moving early this morning.
It's early. So. I had to think about it.
Yes. So no, I think you talk about who I think is the best pickup, and that's Blake Coleman, but the player I'm most excited to see, without a doubt, is Shabanov, to see what he can bring and if he can live up to the hype that seemingly is kind of circulating around him. And I mean, admittedly, he's a player I really don't know too much about outside of what has been said about him since the Wild acquired him. So I'm excited to see what he can bring this season, but I do think we're going to see more of him than maybe. I think we're going to get more accustomed to him as a Wild fan base and get to know his name more, probably fairly early on, if he can live up to what's been said so far.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like it was a very strategic move in going to get him, right? Like they could have thrown money right at free agency at some of the other wings that were available. Maybe they were waiting to make a move and they didn't know how much money they were working with, but at the same time, once you kind of got filtered through that first wave or two of guys, you have a certain crop left, and it's okay. Let's see who's going to fit the game and style that we want to. The enthusiasm that Kirsten mentioned, Bill Guerin talking about it, and what his prior interest before he went to the Islanders and Shabanov. It's like it seems like they're excited about him. Hopefully he can return that excitement back and do a little production on ice.
So Kirsten takes Blake Coleman. You take AJ Shabanov. So I will take, who I'm going to take because I'm just curious about this one? I'm going to take Calvin Pickard, and here's why. Okay. So he's going to start the season as the backup to Wallstedt. Mm-hmm. And Gustafsson is out until I believe they are projecting sometime in November, had that hip procedure done. But here's why I'm going to take him. If he plays well as a backup, and if Gustafsson comes back and he is I think we're going to find out now part of the reason why post-Olympics Gus fell off a little bit, or a lot of times, was because of the hip problem. So how about this thought? If Pickard plays well as the backup and Gustafsson can carry the load, don't you open up the potential then for Wallstedt to be traded in a Larkin trade if a Larkin trade is not done, and you still want Larkin? But that's my thing is, if Detroit takes Larkin into the season, and I think we talked about this last week, you guys, if you all of a sudden have some of your young guys playing well, who you are going to package in, but like right now, Detroit's like, we don't know about them. But now we get into, I don't know, December, and they're playing well. And you're still like, but Dylan Larkin would probably push us to a place where these guys haven't yet. I think it creates trade options. So, look, Wallstedt, I like him a lot. I don't want to trade him. But I think the more bullets that you possibly have that Detroit would want, it's at least worth a discussion. So if Gustafsson comes back and reclaims the job and he's really good, and Pickard is a good, solid backup, I think that at least opens the door.
I don't know though,
2
because the
cents.
recent reports that came out, it sounds at least what Yzerman was asking for. I don't know what the current situation was still looking for a new GM looks like, but it sounds like they were wanting
Yeah.
a first line center back in exchange for Larkin. And it's already a question mark where it's like most teams that are in the market to get Larkin don't have that first center. That's why they're trying to get Larkin. But the
Right.
other argument is he's typically a second line center
Yeah.
on a good team, but first line center on a bad team, or maybe not a bad team, but team lacking that depth or
Like the
in
Wild.
their centers. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. I feel Detroit's being very unrealistic with what they're asking. And if that's the case, I don't think Larkin's going anywhere.
I would dismiss anything that's coming out of Detroit until they hire a GM. Like, I think now it's just a bunch of, like, it's probably the fact that Yzerman asked for Boldy back and stuff. It's clear that he was flailing a bit. So my guess is that anything that we're hearing that Detroit asked for has to be put on pause. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, Larkin might say, "Hey, Stevie, why was the problem? I'm happy again now." And I think fans will be upset, but they'll forgive him eventually. But anyway, yeah, because I saw that. I mean, that makes no sense. So to Kirsten's point, you need a center really badly. You're probably going to make Dylan Larkin your number one center, and Detroit wanted a center you don't have, who is arguably a better center than make it make sense.
Yeah, I feel like the asking price that we've heard prior to the Yzerman step down and then still since then is just we're going to raise the bar a couple notches to put a cooler on any of this while we figure out what our plan is, what the landscape is, and the direction we want to go. And then we'll put the, for sale sign potentially back up when we get somebody back behind the desk. But, that being said, if somebody came in with a ridiculous overpay, like if they wanted to offer Matt Boldy for Dylan Larkin, I think without a GM, they're going to say, yeah, let's make that deal. Nobody's going to do that, though, for the record.
No.
Yeah.
All right, question number 2. Age, we'll start with you this time.
Okay.
Do you see the Wild making another significant move, and here's the key phrasing, before training camp? So not something once training camp starts, not something early in the season. All of those are obviously possibilities. But do you see them making a significant move, which would amount to an off-season move before we take the ice sometime in September? I don't know when. I just know that training camp now is really, really short.
Does significant move also include a contract extension, or are we only talking trades here?
Oh, you know what?
Because that's a notable deal in my
Your
mind.
friendly sports day, I did not think of that, but I like it. Sure, go ahead, run with it.
I think if you're only talking trades, no, you got to be patient for something of that nature. But if you're talking about extensions, Quinn Hughes, I think that's very possible by mid-September. Like I was expecting early September, like the Krull, like the McDavid, like the Eichel. I think about that time is when you're going to see a little headway after, hey, we're done touring. We're going to see Morgan Wallen. Hey, we're done going to the World Cup. Hey, we're done. Our brother's going through a breakup. I got to console him. Now it's time for business. It's time to talk turkey.
I'm sure Jack's being consoled elsewhere. I'm not worried about Jack.
I think an extension for Quinn Hughes is very much in the works before training camp. I remain confident about that. I know Elliot Friedman, is going to hop on whatever platform it is, NHL Network, and say what he thinks and knows about it. And if it's not done by a certain time, then maybe I'll start to worry. I just remain confident it's going to get done. And it makes the most sense in my mind, timeline wise, that it's going to be kind of right up until that training camp area. And then it's like, hey, we're back to work. Because he deserves to have a summer off. Like he played hockey and did his job for 8 months straight.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
He's a human being. He wants to decompress, get it done right before training camp, and everything's fine and dandy.
Yep. Kirsten, what do you think?
I think as far as any acquisitions for Minnesota, I don't see that happening. I think that kind of ship has sailed. I think all of the cards are being held to see what happens with Dylan Larkin. And I think until we know more there, nothing else is going to be done on that front. But with the Quinn Hughes extension, I could see something happening right before training camp, but also part of me isn't, I think the other part of me that is hesitant to say, I feel confident something's going to get done. I've heard from the reports, especially from Russo, that it's close. It's just a matter of term now, not so much dollars, but term, I think, from what I've heard, has been the biggest holdup, or maybe not even holdup. I don't think that's fair to say, because I don't know the depth of these negotiations at this point. But I could also maybe see it not happening. And maybe it's because I've read way too much of the stir online in the comment sections from the New Jersey Devils fans. I know, but really do get under your skin, let me tell you.
Well, it's just so unnecessary because it's New Jersey of all places. Like I get they can live in Manhattan and all that, but it's annoying to me because it's like I still think if they're going to team up, it's not necessarily going to be here or New Jersey. Like that's what gets me. I still think, I mean, their parents are in Michigan, correct? And their parents and their parents are very important as far as I can tell. Like they are a close family. So what would stop them from doing, Quinn from doing a 3-year contract? Jack has, a 3-year contract that's really 4 years. Jack has 4 years left, I think, because Quinn's contract would kick in next year.
Yeah.
And then they sign with the Red Wings, and guess what Luke can do? If he really wants to, he can force a trade. Because that's what everyone's doing now.
Yeah, it's all the rage.
So like Detroit makes more sense. Like you can't say, well, this family is really close, but they're gonna make mom and dad fly to Jersey? Come on.
But they love it there.
Newark's a pain in the ass. Like that airport's a pain in the ass. I'd rather fly to Detroit. And they can get in their car and go see their kids play, which is great. I just want the 3 years of Quinn because the 4 years because because again, like I said, I think last week, if you haven't won a cup by then, you're gonna have to ask yourself serious questions, or like at least contended for a cup, like been to a finals, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, that window should be almost you're in a rebuild stage because all of the chips should have been pushed in.
Correct.
Yeah.
So at that, which is why the center becomes so important too. Like I could see if Quinn's asking questions about what Bill Guerin's plan is, I totally get that, and that's his right, and he probably should. Mm-hmm. But if we're 4 years down the road and it's like Quinn Hughes is leaving, it's like okay, if you haven't won a cup, okay,
yeah.
Plus he's not young at that point; he's going to be an old man.
No, just like AJ said, the window's closed at that point. And you're rebuilding, which would be interesting to see as a Wild fan because we've been fortunate here. We haven't been in a full-on rebuild state. We've consistently been either on the cusp of the postseason or making it into the postseason. So we've been very fortunate to become more accustomed to having winning seasons. So it would be very interesting to see a rebuild actually happen here in Minnesota.
Yeah, and then you just draft every center on the board and hope that one of them hits so that when you do start making that uptick, you got your guy, or two, or three.
Can you be the Sharks and not the Blackhawks is my question.
Just keep Kyle Davison out of the office. That's all.
I mean, the Sharks have been, and look, they've gotten some luck, but they've been brilliant. Like what the Sharks have done is brilliant.
The thing is, I think everybody was in the boat that they didn't get lucky because they should have had the first overall pick in the Bedard draft, and then they got jumped, I think, by 2 teams. And then the next year comes around, they get Celebrini, and it's like, look how that worked out.
Yeah, honestly, what a blessing. I think, I mean, as good of a player Bedard is, Celebrini is I think Celebrini is going to end up being better than McDavid when his career is done. I don't think that's that hot of a take. If you've seen Celebrini play this past season, especially, like he just is continuing on an upward trajectory. Like, and he doesn't have Leon Draisaitl with him to play alongside. Like, sure, he's got Will Smith and some other supporting cast members, but what Macklin Celebrini has done early on with San Jose, like he's just going to continue to get better and better.
I think I love this take. I might have to steal this from you.
This is a great take. Hey, wait. So like, and
I don't think it's that hot of a take. Is it that hot of a take?
I don't think it
It's an interesting thought, but it's an interesting thought exercise. Like
Yes.
it's causing my brain to like start to churn, and it's the morning time, and it doesn't like to do that. But
that's how I know it's a good take, because I'm like,
yeah,
in
I
my
agree.
head, I'm genuinely thinking about, well, if he goes this and then this career path, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not a 0% chance by any means. Like, that's a really good, I like that take a lot.
Well,
If
and what,
we,
he's 18, 19 now? 19?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he looks like he's 12. He does. He
You're
literally looks like he's 12. So when it's all said and done, who has more cups?
I think Macklin Celebrini.
I think you're right.
It has to be, yeah, because what? McDavid's 29 at this point.
Yeah.
Unless he just goes after this this deal with the Oilers and just goes like, yeah, I'm going to go $5 million. one year deals the rest of
I don't
my
think he'll go
career.
back. I think this will be it. I think
No,
he'll leave.
but I'm saying he jumps teams and he like
Oh,
he
I
does
gotcha.
like he
I
goes to
gotcha.
Florida
I
on
gotcha.
a $5 million 1 year deal. He tries to win there, and then let's survey our options. Now let's go here and that type of thing.
God, that's a really great take. That's really interesting because I think if I had to have, like, I guess if I was just like to pick out a skill, like, it's just skating, I'll take McDavid. But I think for a complete player, I think you're right. I think I would take Celebrini. I mean, it's
Happy to bring
incredible.
something to the show this morning, boys.
You really something. You brought the fastball. That's good. That's good. All right, more questions to come. But first of all, let's talk about a great place to get a burger. And that, of course, if you've been watching this show for quite some time, is Parlor. 3 locations right down West 7th in St. Paul from Grand Casino Arena, of course. We've got the OG Parlor in the North Loop. And then the newest addition to the family, the Left Wing in Excelsior, which is right near the lake, obviously. So if you're spending a day on a boat, no better place to stop in than Parlor. If you're watching this right now, you're seeing a QR code. You know what you do? You scan that QR code, you make a reservation. What are you going to find? You're going to find the best burger in town. Absolutely outstanding. But that's not all. The entire menu is fantastic. The service is great. You got craft cocktails, beer list that is fantastic as well. Parlor, a great place to stop in. And yes, if you are going to be going to Wild Games this coming season, start your night at Parlor to make it a great experience. Again, the QR code, you can scan that and make a reservation. And then let's talk about Mystic Lake as well, because someone once tried to tell me you can't stay, dine, and unwind all in one place. And I said, oh no, yes you can. They said, where can you do it, Sports Dad? I said, Mystic Lake, which is fantastic. It all starts on the floor. The table games are great. The hot slots. Catch an unforgettable night with the stars in the Mystic Showroom. On your screen right now, what you are seeing is the Hop House, which is the best sports bar in town. All of those TVs, if you're a sports fan, are turned to the games that you want to see. A great place to make your headquarters on a Sunday during football, or a Saturday during football season. And then, of course, you can stay there as well. And you got the spa in the morning. I could go on, but I don't need to, because all you have to do is go to mysticlake.com, mysticlake.com, to find out why you can stay, dine, and unwind all in one place. All right, off that fantastic semi-hot take, but sort of like a really good, a really interesting opinion from yes, it really is. I'm at a loss for words. Let's get back to the team here. Would you guys prefer on opening night Ryan Hartman centering the first line, assuming that Eriksson Ek remains with Boldy, and probably Blake Coleman on the second line where he's really good? Would you guys prefer Ryan Hartman, who played there quite a bit, or Danila Yurov gets another shot at in his second season now in the NHL, being the number 1 center, assuming that the Wild makes no move for a center that trumps both of those guys? Kirsten.
I'm gonna go with Danila Yurov because that's what my gut is telling me to do. I'm hoping, even, having 1 full season now of NHL play under his belt, he can come in with a little more knowledge and tools in his belt this upcoming season, but also maybe hoping, I don't know where he's been this off season, but maybe put on a little more muscle to bring a little bit more physicality. In the perfect world, if he did all of those things, I would love to see him on that top line. Ryan Hartman, I understand he was a first-round draft pick. He's been there. I don't want to see Ryan Hartman isn't a first-line center. He's a great player. He brings a lot of valuables to this team. He's not a top-line center.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That being said, opening night, it's going to come down to the development of Yurov over the offseason, especially in the face-off taking ability department. If that's improved, yes, I would love to have him top line. I think I'm more often than not play the kids, play the younger guys. Let me see what they can offer, especially opening night, early part in the season. Let's see if he's up to the task. But if I'm going to go on like potential context clues from our conversation a week and a half ago or whatever it was with Bill Guerin, when he brought up the center role for the Wild, he's mentioned two names, and it's the same names that we've gotten used to at the top of that lineup for the 1C, 2C, and that's Jules Eriksson and that's Ryan Hartman. So potentially he just hasn't seen Yurov this offseason. Potentially we don't know about how surprising or impactful his offseason was and what he can bring to the lineup. But I think I would like to see Yurov, but I'm more than likely expecting it's going to be Ryan Hartman right back at the top in that 1C role once again.
I'd like to raise my hand as being guilty about something when it comes to Yurov last season. And I don't think I gave him enough credit for playing like he did as a rookie. And part of that is he works his ass off. Like some guys come in and I don't want to say they're entitled, but they sort of play like, hey, I'm an offensive guy, right? And look, Yurov, I'm not saying he was a finished product, but if you like read the stories about that dude, he worked really hard, and he worked hard to have a 200-foot game, and my guess is he worked his butt off again this summer. So if he does that, and I know we all want, Dylan Larkin or a number one center who we know their name, and they come in here and they take the job, and that'd be great, don't get me wrong. But I think I personally was guilty of like dismissing Yurov because he wasn't like that player yet, but he's not. Like he was a rookie, and he missed some scoring opportunities. There's no question he needs to bury the puck more often. So I'm not trying to say he was great, but I am trying to say he showed a lot of good, solid qualities that I probably ignored because he wasn't that guy yet. I think he deserves a long, hard look in camp. And to what Kirsten said, if he's put on muscle, if he's gotten stronger, if he's worked on faceoffs, I think I would rather see that potential upside on opening night. I mean, Hartman, we know, and he is a versatile player who can play a lot of roles. So I'm not minimizing that. But Yurov, to me, could take an incredible step here. So, yeah, I think we all agree that Yurov, he's got the upside. And the thing that I really liked about him was he worked hard. He worked really hard. He never looked like a guy who thought he was entitled to a job. And we have all seen players in the past with this team who looked like they thought they might be entitled to a job.
This whole Dylan Larkin delay, whatever saga, and potentially having to go into the season might be the biggest blessing in disguise for the Wild, because now they're going to get, I think, more than likely a long extended look at 2025/6 or 2026/7, excuse me, Danilo Yurov. He might be so impressive coming back, and this is probably a smaller chance than just like, oh, he takes a step forward and it's another year or two before he really reaches it. But he might take a huge jump, and they're like, okay, we don't need Dylan Larkin anymore. We've got a guy in house, and he's on a rookie scale contract. He's on like he might be so impressive and like fix some of the biggest kinks, because I think you can teach face off. I would like to think, but it's been year after year now that we haven't seen that improve here for the team. You can't really teach like the mental stuff sometimes. The one thing that I think the biggest thing you can't just drill into a guy is the work ethic. And he seems to have that. He's got the right attitude. He's got the right work ethic. He's willing to take the punches. Hey, we need you to step up here for the night. We need you to drop down here for the night. We need you to play winger. You gotta play a little more offensively. You gotta play more defensively. He played 73 games last year as a rookie. He looked the part in all 73 of those, in my opinion. There was never a time where it was like, okay, he got too far into the deep end of the pool. Bring him on back. Get the floaties out. Like, we got to coddle him. He looked the part. And doing that as a rookie, was it the most standout rookie season we've ever seen? Not by a long shot. But he looked the part. If he's developing at all this offseason, what Judd and you, Kirsten, have said, which is like the work ethic, he's going to probably try to take that step forward so he comes back and tries to earn that top six role. I think he absolutely deserves a shot. I just we also know I'm not going to say the prejudice, but the bias towards some of the more established,
Sure.
The affinities that they have to some of the older guys in terms of giving them those roles.
Yeah.
An unhinged comment incoming for me, but remember who else worked hard? And remember who else had a lot of promise? Marco Rossi, and traded
Yeah,
away.
that's good. Good
Oh,
point.
yeah.
So
That's a good
you're
point.
up.
That's a good point. But if I can get another Quinn Hughes, okay.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm not saying that was the wrong move to make it. Absolutely. If you could get Quinn Hughes out of the deal, it worked out great for everybody. But it's funny to have, that had happened last season, and you hear all of the hype around Marco Rossi. Now you're hearing all the hype about Yurov, but one of the common denominators is you don't hear that Bill Guerin has really been sold on Rossi or now Yurov. And so now that makes him fall to probably third line center. And it just makes you wonder. I mean, and all the reports too have been Yurov is obviously trade bait in all of these pieces, but
Yes.
it feels like history's repeating itself here.
I think it does help that he's got about.
I love it. I
4
love the
inches
sort
on
of
Rossi.
the cynical look at this is fantastic. I love it. I sort of wish I had said that. Okay, we're going to take out question 4 and replace it with question 5 here to end the show today, and that is, I'm curious. I do not qualify to answer this because I was 30 years old when the Wild started. But who was your favorite, for you two guys who were kids? Who was your favorite Wild player growing up, and why, Kirsten?
Well, I mean, this is kind of very, I don't know the word I'm looking for. I don't want to say cliche, but like no brainer. Zach Parise was the household name. So Zach Parise was, when you thought of the Minnesota Wild, Zach Parise was synonymous with the Minnesota Wild. And also too, in middle school, I didn't come from like a huge hockey family. So the early days of the Wild, that wasn't part of my history. So I really started to watch hockey in middle school, but then even more so in high school was when I really, really got into the game. But then in middle school, one of my best friends, she had a dog named Miko. So obviously then I started following Miko Koivu. But as I got older, one of my other favorite players, and this is more recent, so I can't really say like this was growing up for me, but when the Wild traded Granlund for Kevin Fiala for the Nashville Predators, because I had watched Kevin Fiala play in Nashville and I was so high on him. So when the Wild got him, I was so excited. So, and when I was in college, yeah, Kevin Fiala became my favorite.
That's a good one. On Parise, do you think would you replace the number 9 in the rafters with an 11 if you could?
I'm very anti-jersey retirements, so I wouldn't have retired either.
Well,
I wouldn't retire any jersey numbers.
You're perfect for this show.
None? So
None.
you would never do it? Okay, wow.
Do a
okay.
ring of honor. You don't need to retire jersey numbers. Do a ring of honor.
I think you retire jersey numbers if the player is like a Hall of Fame caliber, unbelievable player for you for an extended period of time. But I agree with you. And one of my biggest complaints is, why doesn't the Wild have a ring? Like, why don't they have a ring? Like, there are players that belong in that, right? So, like, why don't they have a ring of honor? I don't understand it.
You could even just do a spin on the words too. It's the rink of honor. It's the pond of honor.
Yep,
boy.
love it.
Like you could do something like that. But yeah, the Wild unfortunately have not had a. You look at the Boston Bruins. Yeah, nobody should be wearing 4 in Boston for the rest of the time.
It's Bobby freaking Orr.
It's Bobby
number
freaking
7,
Orr. I get
Esposito.
it.
No, right.
Same thing. Like nobody, and once it happens, nobody should wear 87 in Pittsburgh ever again. Sidney Crosby. The Wild have not had anywhere close to that caliber of player. Love Mikko Koivu. Appreciate the years here. Like he, growing up, was one of my guys, but he's not a jersey retirement guy in my opinion.
But he's the poster child for what Kirsten is saying. A ring of honor guy. You bring him back.
Absolutely.
You put him into the ring.
Yeah.
Mikko Koivu, thank you very much. His jersey retirement, which I've complained about a lot, it felt so forced. Like, we got to do something.
Yeah.
And plus, they took a jersey, like the number 9 in hockey is sort of sacred.
Absolutely.
And they took it out of rotation for a guy because he was a good two-way player.
Longevity merchant.
And plus, you know what, too? I mean, they didn't ever make a run with him either. So it's not like, well, he was the captain of a team that went to the finals anyway.
But he was a Selke finalist that one year. Anyways,
Deep sigh.
growing up for me,
I can't.
growing up for me, I think the standard one was Gabrick. Like he was the first like flashy 5 goals in a game. That was cool. But in terms of some other, maybe secondary guys that I just kind of liked growing up, Pierre-Marc Bouchard was always, just as a kid, kind of little bald guy, spinorama, like that thing kind of caught my attention. But I like Pavel Demitra a lot. The 2 years we had Owen Nolan, I thought he was the coolest thing around because I've like the highlights of him in the All-Star game, calling his shot, pointing, and then sniping upper corner. And then defensively, Nick Schultz was my guy growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Just showed up, did his job.
Yep.
Like one of the most forgotten, but I think like should be respected wild defenseman in the history of the franchise. Just a great player. Just a fantastic defenseman.
That's a good one. Yeah, he was solid. He was solid. No Brent Burns?
I don't know. I think I forced myself because they didn't have him for a long enough to where it's like I liked him from afar. Like it was fun watching him in San Jose and whatnot, but he doesn't.
I forget how young you guys are. Yeah,
I don't know. Like
you guys are very young. I remember Brent Burns when he looked like a kid.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Like early picture,
long beard and long hair.
Yeah. He had that like a toothless smile, but he looked like he was 15 years old.
Yeah, I will say I like Nino, and the only reason for Nino, and this is going to be so stupid, is because when I was like 11 or whatever, I traded for him on like my PlayStation game for the Wild, and he became like the next Mario Lemieux. It was incredible. So when they eventually in real life trade, I was like, I discovered that guy. That was all me. And yeah, anyways.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done here, but Kirsten, I'd like to thank you again for throwing out that Celebrini take, which is absolutely fantastic. McDavid, I got to give that more thought. Like, I think I'm totally with you, and I definitely think Celebrini wins cups, and McDavid might win 1 or 2, but I think Celebrini wins more. But that was definitely, it's the dead of the offseason, and Kirsten came up with something that I literally woke up and hadn't, I don't know why, I hadn't thought about that ever.
Well,
yes,
really quick, like if you were doing a dynasty draft, like everybody is a free agent and you have the 1-1 pick, I think for the past, I don't know, 8 years, you'd say, yeah, it's going to be McDavid, who I'm taking.
Yeah.
This is now like, if I'm going up to the podium, there's a hesitation of like, is it 97? Is it Celebrini? I think there's a really good argument for people to say, I'm going to go Celebrini, obviously because of the age right now, but I love this take. I didn't think we were going to get anything of this caliber this morning. So
every now and then a dog finds a bone. So.
At least from us. The two of us were...
No, just at this point of the offseason, I didn't expect this thought-provoking take.
No, if I had a dynasty league, Celebrini right now, definitely. I mean, age and just upside is huge. So, All right, we are done. We will see you next week unless Quinn Hughes signs or Dylan Larkin is traded on Sunday or on Friday or something like that. We will see you soon, though. Judd's Hockey Show. Kirsten, AJ, the Sports Dad, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.